Everybody, what's going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. Now, I want to ask everybody as you come in the chat, if anybody has ever thought about investing in Forex. Have you ever looked at the Forex market and kind of wondered, how does that work? What's going on? Are they making money? What they doing over there? Well, if you have wondered about Forex, then you should know about our guest. The guest today is a good brother by the name of Courtney Logan. Courtney Logan Esquire. Meaning he is a lawyer, correct? Is that accurate?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And he's also a Forex trading expert. We partnered with him in the Black Business School, and he's a super sharp brother. How you doing today, Courtney?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be here. Super excited. Thanks
All
for the opportunity.
Yeah, brother. Well, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. And I also want to say hello to everybody in the audience. She Love Money. There's somebody here with a name She Love Money. So
I love that.
She's gonna be paying attention. We got the real Dana Dane in here. We got Everett Moore, Ty Thomas. I tell you, these are social media names or something else. Shout out your city. Shout out the city that you're from. So my brother Courtney, if I'm not mistaken, you said you live in a part of Illinois right next to St. Louis. Is that correct?
I'm in Southern Illinois. It's a little town called Swansea, Illinois. I'm about maybe 15 minutes from downtown St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, okay, nice. Shout out to St. Louis and surrounding areas. Yeah, I had a track coach, a real cool track coach, a white guy who coached us. Yeah, he coached us for like a month, but I remember he was from Southern Illinois University.
You ran him off?
You know what happened there? I didn't run him off, but I do remember I appreciated the attention that he gave me to help me with my track career, and I had a real shitty, like crappy, like senior year. I pulled my hamstring.
Oh wow!
And I had planned to have this big season. He had been with me in the weight room, like one-on-one. I loved it, man. I was ready, and pulled my hamstring, and I lost my spot on the relay team, right? Wow. And another guy beat me out, and the guy that beat me out was like a guy I couldn't stand. Like I had fought this dude before, and I could beat him with my eyes closed, but with my hamstring injury, I couldn't beat him, and I was so depressed. It was like some guy taking your girlfriend or something, man. So I was sitting there, and I was like, I had my head down in my lap, and I'm kind of depressed. And the guy said, "Boyce," he said, "all this is temporary. You know, this sports stuff ain't gonna matter." He said, "Look, you got a college scholarship, you got a great future." And then he pointed to another guy who was like the star of the team, and he said, "Look over there." He said, "That guy, he can't even read. You know, he's barely made. This is going to be the best time of his life. Like it'll never get better for him."
Right.
And so I thought about that guy. Literally, I ran into the star of the track team 13 years later, and his life was so bad. I'll just say this: it was so bad. Like I'm talking about baby mama problems, like money problems. Worked at a fast food restaurant. That type of disrespect, but that's what it was. It was so bad that I felt embarrassed to even tell him anything about my life. Like it got to where he's telling me a long list of problems he had, and he's like, "So how you been, man?" I'm like, nothing, chilling. I'm doing all right. I didn't say nothing.
Yeah. What do you say?
They say it again.
It's like, what do you say?
Yeah. So anyway, I said that long story to say. See, that's what happens. Like you triggered me with Southern Illinois, and it led to that consciousness, which circles back though to yourself. Tell us about your story, man. You went to law school. How'd that happen?
Was an interesting, process. I'll tell you that. So, I'm originally from East St. Louis, Illinois. That's kind of where, my upbringing is. Tell people I'm from the bottom of the barrel where the drugs got mixed. My mom was a drug addict. Dad was an alcoholic. Brothers were drug dealers. Been through foster care. One of my brothers was murdered in 1999. So I kind of understand. What it means to be in the hood. Some people say they're from the hood, but I've lived that experience. And but school was my refuge growing up. It was I just grew this affinity for school, but more importantly, school kept me safe. It was the place that I could go, that I knew I was going to be protected, nothing was going to happen to me. So I just got more and more involved in school, and it was my way of fighting back from the outside environment in which I didn't want to be in. So I got involved in everything, and I was on a track team and drama club and debate. I did everything that I could do in order to keep me active and not in the streets and out in the hood. That's exactly what I did. So that kind of led me to undergrad. I thought I wanted to go into computer science, to be quite honest. That's what I knew I wanted to do. One of my older brothers, one of my stepbrothers, he was a computer scientist. He went off to TSU and, got his degree, and I saw him traveling. He would come home on breaks, and I was like, man, that sounds real cool. Maybe I do the computer thing. But I got the undergrad, and I was like, I don't like programming. I didn't like programming. I didn't like programming at all, but I took an argumentative communication class, and that kind of launched me into a debate career that was very successful. Won 4 national debate championships. I went to McKendree University here in Southern Illinois as well. And that was just a natural progression of law, right? Like it's you already argue effectively, you got the critical thinking skills. Why not go to law school, right? Like if you're not going to politics, why not go to law school, or not going into political science or something, upper level like that? Why not go to law school? So I end up going to law school. So that's how the law happened. It wasn't my plan, but it just kind of organically happened.
Well, you know what's funny, man, is I think it's so crazy how you could tell that story, right? And I want y'all to pay attention. This man's such a badass that he just was able to skirt through the fact that he's a 4-time national debate champion. I mean, that I tell you, to be the 1-time city champion would be a big deal, right? National. Oh, did you say 4-time national debate champion?
Yeah, we won 4 championships in my undergrad, and I won a national moot court competition when I was in law school. So I just, like I said, the stars kind of aligned for me along the way. I've been really, really good at identifying what my gifts are and focusing my energies and efforts on accentuating my gifts and finding places to put my gifts in order for me to shine. And I was already good at arguing and communicating, and so law made sense. So the moot court competition makes sense, and becoming a trial attorney after law school made sense because it was always me, effectuating and just working my gift, and that's how I got here.
Wow, man. Well, I'm impressed. I think 3 things that stood out to me about your story is, one, surviving the hood and surviving what you were dropped into. That right there is a miracle. I hate drugs. I don't mess with it. It's not because it's not a game to me, because I've seen my daddy went to prison for drugs. I had relatives that got messed up with drugs. You know what I mean? My best friend 96 got murdered over in a drug situation. So I don't play with that, right? And I think it's like kind of crazy. I think we as Black people got to think about the fact that they're promoting this culture to us, like it's just fun, like it's interesting, entertaining, but it's not. It's very serious. And so I'm very sorry about what happened with your family. And I think it's remarkable that you rose out of that. And then you said education became a refuge, like almost like a type of therapy.
Absolutely.
Would you say that?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was, try to drown out as much misery and pain and replace it with as much joy and happiness as you can, and wherever you can find that happiness and joy. And for me, that was the teachers, that was the organizations, that was the coaches, right? They became surrogate mothers and fathers to me. So it was natural for me to gravitate to doing more of that and less of the things that made me sad or upset or frustrated, right? So, it was just my way of turning my negative environment to positive motivation. I just kind of looked at all the things around me that I saw was negative, and I said, okay, I don't want to do drugs because when mom does drugs, she's not here. I don't want to drink alcohol. I want to be drunk because when dad's drunk, he hits mom. I don't want to be a drug dealer because if you become a drug dealer, you either die like one of my brothers or you get put in jail like another one of my brothers. So it was easy for me to look around and see all of the negative experiences and just say, just not do those things and see where you go. Right. And that's kind of how I rationalized it all. There's a lot of trauma, but as a kid, you don't really know trauma. You just know, I want to make it, I want to be successful. And I just made that decision really early, and it's just worked out for me overall long term.
Wow, man, that's extraordinary. So it sounds like you did what our most extraordinary people do, which is you took your pain and turned it into a superpower. Right. And because you watch, if you watch any like Marvel or DC comic superhero, there's always like this really horrible origin story, like this physicist who gets caught in the particle accelerator and the door locks. You know what I mean? Yeah. He emerges as some amazing character, right? And I personally think that that's kind of where our greatest Black superheroes come from. I mean, 4-time national debate champion. I mean, that's not nothing to play with. That's heavy. And the moot court champion. I mean, that's beautiful. So everybody type the word superpower to now his brother superpower. So let's move in. Let's just dive into MLM. I said MLM. You know why I said MLM? is because when I mentioned Forex, there were people in the chat who talked about some of the Forex MLMs. So
Sure.
I'll skip ahead. I was going to ask you about that later, but my brain
Sure.
was already on it. So so I'll put the last thing first thing last.
Absolutely.
So when you talk about Forex trading, and I know you're very good at it, and I want you to just talk about it as much as you like.
Sure. Absolutely.
But you know, a lot of people, first thing I saw in the chat was that people were saying Forex is a scam.
Absolutely.
And somebody corrected me and said, no, you're talking about those Forex MLMs, etc. Can you just speak to all of that? What do you say when people say to you that Forex is a scam?
Well, I tell them that Forex is a market, right? It's a market, just like the stock market, just like people trade futures and they trade options, which is a derivative of the stock market, right? Forex is a market. It's a $6.6 trillion per day market. It dwarfs all of the stock markets combined. If you put them on a graph together, it's not even they're not even a blip on the screen compared to how much liquidity flows into the foreign exchange market. So the first thing I tell them is first understand that Forex is not a company, Forex is not a system, Forex is not a product. Forex is it's a market. Now, how you get introduced to that market and how you're educated about that market will necessarily shape your opinion of what that is. But a majority of people are not even educated in what that market is. They don't even know it's a market. All they think it is a multi-level marketing, or is some account manager somewhere that's going to trade your money. They don't understand that Forex, just like the stock market, is a market in and of itself. Now, are there scams in the Forex market? Absolutely. Are there scams in the stock market? Absolutely. Are there scams in the options market? Absolutely. So whether or not there's scams or not, that's not even up for debate. But Forex itself the foreign exchange market is one of the largest markets in the entire world. So is Forex a scam? No. Are there scams in Forex? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what, it's it's interesting to me. I was really surprised to see, of course, I'd known about Forex for a while, and and he's right. I mean, it's a massive market, lots of liquidity, lots of action, lots of interesting things happening. And I was really surprised when I saw how many MLMs grew out of Forex. It's just random. It was weird to me.
Sure.
I mean, have you been confronted with any of that? I mean,
I started an MLM company.
Really?
That's how I figured. That's how I even found out about it. So let's journey, because everybody wants to know the MLM story, and they want to understand. They want to understand the multi-level marketing companies and their interactions and all that stuff. So let's talk about it. I started a company. I was an attorney. I was a chief. I was a vice president, chief legal officer for a law enforcement technology company. And one of my buddies approached me, just like a lot of people have been approached about Forex through a company. And he said, "Hey, if you come here, it's going to be simple. It's going to be quick. It's going to be easy, right?" And I was like, "Okay, well, I don't have a lot of time to give, so I can't really invest a lot of my energy into it." He said, "You don't need to do all of that." That was my story, right? You don't need to do all of that. You don't have to do much in anything. You don't have to learn anything. It's just real small time investment and a small money investment to get involved. I said, okay. Well, I wasn't convinced, but he decided to go ahead and send me the money to sign up. So I was like, okay, well, if he's convicted enough to pay for this thing, I'm willing to figure out what it is. I'm willing to at least put some money in order to figure out. So I never even took his money. I gave it back to him, and I signed up for the company. I got in, I started doing some of the education, but over time, I quickly found out that the education component was there. There is some education there. I actually got a good introductory level of understanding. And to be fair, a lot of people without a multi-level marketing company would not even know about Forex. And there have been some people that's gone on to be successful. In fact, without the multi-level marketing company, I wouldn't be where I am today, trading Forex now on my own with the level of experience and the level of talent that I've helped create. I wouldn't have done that without a multi-level marketing company. So are there pros and there cons? Absolutely. Right. There is no straightforward answer to whether or not a person should be involved in multi-level marketing company. There have been some multi-level marketing companies that has had good education, right? Now, the marketing element of it sometimes takes over and overshadows the actual education component. I think most of the time it depends on the person themselves. I got to a place where I felt like I had outgrown the education that was provided to me. And I took it upon myself. I took that responsibility to go figure out, okay, what do I need to know that I do not know? right? What avenues have I not that they've not exposed me to that I need to be exposed to? That was my responsibility, right? The company's responsibility was to provide a product. They provided that product. My job as a customer was to determine whether or not that product was giving me the result I was looking for. It wasn't for me to just blame the companies, right? And I think we have a lot of people that have been scarred. They have been made false promises. They've been promised big grand results from different places. Well, that wasn't the company. That was a person that promised you the individual result that they didn't give you, right? So I'm a personal responsibility type of guy. Even when students come to me and they give me these sob stories about what has happened to them, I understand it. We can't go back and erase that time that you've spent. However, what we can do is figure out the way forward. If anybody's involved in any product, right? Specifically, we're talking about Forex, and you're not getting the results you're looking for, it is incumbent on you to figure out what you need to do in order to get your skill set and the results that you're looking for, right? So I don't think the multi-level marketing companies per se by themselves are the problem. I think there are bad promises that are given. I think there are bad marketers that exist, just like I think there's bad account managers that are out there taking people's money in the Forex world, right? And the reason Forex has the name that it has is because it's unregulated, right? There's not a lot of regulation surrounding the Forex market. So when you talk to a seasoned trader, my neighbor is a vice president at Morgan Stanley, right? When you say Forex to somebody at that caliber, they hear rookie, they hear retail, they hear, scam, right? Because there's not a lot of regulations surrounding it. So it is an atmosphere where you have to be educated. You have to know what's going on if you plan to be successful long term in this market. But just to point the finger at the multi-level marketing company and say they're the problem, no, I think the reality is the people themselves that are purchasing the product have a responsibility, and it is incumbent on them as well as the company. If the company's not providing education, you have a responsibility to go find the education you need. I think it cuts both ways.
Yeah, in my experience with MLMs, because I studied them a lot, because I had people, they have strong feelings about them, right? You have people who just hate them, and then you have people that think that they're great. And then also, I know that even before we started having the discussions online, I can say that, I was like a lot of people where when your friend with an MLM wants to meet you for dinner, you give them the side eye, like, okay, why? What's going to be served? Right? Is friendship really being served, or is it being served? Because sales pitches don't taste as good as fried chicken. And so
I'll let you eat first.
Right. So that was the honest God truth. But I will say that in my research, what I concluded was one, that there is a very clear line of delineation between an MLM and say a pyramid scheme, and that the smart companies, the Amways, et cetera, are able to make sure they stay clear of that line, right?
Sure.
And that and because it comes down to like, okay, are we selling something or are we recruiting people?
Right.
Where are we making our money, right? But then, and then there's also that whole issue of I've noticed that MLMs are extraordinarily good at two things, that the ones I've encountered recently. They're really good at the education you mentioned. Mm-hmm. You can get a really good education. Like they educate the hell out of you. And then two, they're too good at sales, right? And when I say that, I mean, it's like, okay, I would see times where it's like, okay, you're not really selling a customer to buy the product. You're selling me to sign up. Right? Right. Like I'm the customer, really. I think I'm going to be another salesperson. Really, I'm kind of the customer. So you're selling me this interesting dream where where sometimes it's like those SPACs, where the SPACs give you these inflated expectations, and we buy into that, right? So I think that what should probably be required is something where they just simply say, just understand, 99% of you are not going to make very much money. Like, I think if they lay it out like that just in the beginning, because I think that's where you get the bitterness, is that you do have these people that make tons and tons of money, but then you have those individuals, a large percentage that don't get anywhere, and they walk away kind of mad, right? Because you kind of pour it into. But then if you really think about it, all of capitalism could be described almost like an MLM, because you look in the United States, the 1% are controlling half the country. And I think that the reason guys like you are important, I'm going to hand the ball back to you, is that you're getting people to invest more, which increases your likelihood of getting a piece of what the 1% are getting by simply being investors. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because I think what the markets do, the markets themselves are a great equalizer when it's done correctly. And I'll talk about the done correctly part in a second. When I was a lawyer, I had climbed the corporate spectrum, right? I had made it very quickly. I'm 35 years old. And I've been doing this for years. I haven't worked a job since 19. So I'm 35 years old. So I left corporate America a couple years ago. Because I truly realized that while I had climbed the corporate ladder, I had done everything I needed to do for Courtney and Courtney's family. I went to school, I had studied hard, I had stayed out the streets, and I had, got this job and got that promotion and did this and did that and got all these accolades, right? And 30 under 30 and 40 under 40. I did all of these things, but it hit me one day that I'd done enough for me. And what I had did for me, I couldn't give to you, Dr. Boyce. I couldn't give it to Susan or Joe or James. I could only continue to climb that ladder for me. But what I quickly figured out was while I had climbed my own corporate ladder, when I got into the markets allowed me to be a ladder manufacturer. And what I quickly realized was even though I couldn't give my law degrees, my three licenses, and I couldn't give that to you, I could give you Forex, right? I could give you an opportunity regardless if you graduated from State Penn or Penn State. I like the video you posted on your page just a little bit ago about the little girl who just reunited with her father after he'd been gone for so long. The markets give us the ability, regardless of what our background is, what our educational status is, whatever failures we've had in life, whatever dead-end job we're working, whatever, business venture that has failed, it gives us an opportunity potentially to even the stakes if we do it correctly. And that was that was a really powerful epiphany to me. And that's when I took my law degrees used to hang right here. If you go back and look at some old Facebook videos where my screens are now, those were my degrees because I was so proud of my degrees. But I truly realized that couldn't do anything for anybody. And this could, me helping people get this could be very, very powerful in their lives, even at some level. And I think the problem with Forex and the problem, the way that Forex is sold to everybody's want to be rich. They see the Lambos. They want $1 million a day. How about we create some practical goals? How about we get the mortgage paid? Like, how about the car note? Like we skip over reality and we go directly into fantasy. And this is where people get lost. And this is where people get hurt because they believe the hype. They believe the idea that they could click a button. They can flip a switch. And all of a sudden, all of the pain that they're experiencing, all of the financial devastation that they have could be unwound in a few moments. And it's just not true. So I approach trading and I approach teaching from a practical perspective. Let's get $100. Can we get $100 a day? I mean, if you're going to make $1 million a month, right, you're going to make $10,000 a month. I think you got to get through $100 a day. All right, well, let's start with the practical goals and the practical bills. And let's figure out how to get something tangible out of this market so we can do something tangible in your life. And that's just my perspective overall. So we don't make all these grand, you're going to be rich tomorrow and everything's going to be fine. I don't believe trading is necessarily for everybody. I don't think but here's the thing. I don't think trading is for everybody because there's a characteristics that it takes to be a good trader. You have to be patient. You need to be disciplined, right? You have to exercise caution and risk management. You have to be able to do those things. But at the same token, I also don't believe everybody's had an opportunity to fairly assess whether or not the markets are them for not because of the lack of education that they've gotten in the status quo.
Wow. Everybody, I'm speaking to Courtney Logan. Courtney is a Forex expert and attorney. And by the way, Corey is doing a free event in the Black Business School this Friday, which is an intro to Forex. He's going to break some things down for you. If you have an interest, you can just go to boycewatkins.com. Just go to the top. The link is there where you can join and join the event. And it's Friday. It's free. So feel free to just go to my website, and the link is right there at the very top. And Courtney is our special guest for this month. And I'll tell you what, you can hear his story. He's a smart guy. He's a cool dude, and he knows a lot of stuff. So I'm really excited that he's joined the Black Business School family and that we're partnering together. So let me let's jump into that then. I think that with trading is interesting, right? It's trading is different, a little bit different from investing, typically, right?
Yes.
It's like, I think about it like dating, right? There's the marriage, the long-term relationship, there's the hookup, and then there might even, there might be, cuffing season, but you got different, there's layers to it, right? There's layers to to the process, and they all have a place, right? In terms
Sure.
of, and they fit different personalities in different ways, right?
Absolutely.
And and so with trading, it seems that it's a lot of fun, right? That's what I like. That's what I like about trade. It's just cool to kind of make your move and see the money kind of move around. And it seems to me like you have to. You said something interesting in your last presentation in the Black Business School that I really like, where you said, "I'm not just here to teach you how to win. I'm here to teach you how to lose."
Oh, that's the
Right?
key. That's
Can you talk about that a little bit about knowing how to lose properly?
That's the key. Listen, I've built my entire organization on doing things opposite of what's in the market, status quo, education wise, right? And what I realized was, after I went through got the MLM education, and I went off and got some professional training, I saw a stark contrast of what's done in prop firms compared to what's done in the retail market. And the focus in the retail market, as you talked about sales, it was on winning. Everything was winning. It was take profit. It was, let's get the bag, let's win the money. But the firms, it was completely different. It was like, protect my money. Like, if I'm going to give you money to trade, like, protect my money. It wasn't about winning the money. It was about first protect my money. And I thought those were two divergent concepts. Like, how in the world do we have firms that are managing millions and millions of dollars of capital, and they're focused, they're turned completely a separate and different way from the retail space, where people are promising them hopes, dreams, fantasies, mansions, everything, and their conversations are completely different. Well, who are we to believe? Well, I'm going to believe the seasoned traders. I'm going to believe the firms that has the capital, that's been doing it for years, right? I'm not going to believe the guy who potentially could be somebody, who's been doing it for 3 months, right? Yeah. So I took that rationale, and I that's what I approached my training by. I didn't create this stuff, right? There's nothing new under the sun. I just went and gathered it from the professionals, right? They taught me, and I'm bringing it back to teach the people that want to learn a better perspective and a better way to be consistently profitable. That's all I'm doing. And their perspective was, the focus on winning is wrong. If we focus on losing and we protect our capital, place capital preservation above everything else, before profits and before everything else, we put losses first. That means we will always have our eye on our downside. Always. We're always looking to see how can we abate our risk. And if we can do that consistently, because losing is inevitable. Everybody's going to lose trades. Any seasoned trader or seasoned vet is going to tell you you're going to lose. Now, the retail public will tell you don't have to lose. They'll tell you they have a 95% winning strategy. They'll tell you they got a bot that's going to do it all for you. You're going to win money every day. But any professional trader that's been doing it any time, they're going to tell you you are going to lose. But what they won't say is that you have to be a loser. And the way we combat being a loser is teaching people how to lose the right way. Because if you can lose the right way, and then losing is inevitable, that also means, Dr. Boys, winning is inevitable. If losing is inevitable, winning is inevitable. So my job is to ensure that my traders are around long enough to capitalize on the winning positions, and not only capitalize on them, know what to do with the winning positions so they don't mess those up too. A lot of people win trades. It's not about winning a trade. Like, a lot of people that's been around long enough, they know winning a trade, my daughter can come press the button, she get it on the right time, it goes up, she wins the trade. That's not what we need to do. What we need to do is be consistent in our winning, right? And we need to be consistent in managing our risk so we can be consistently profitable. That's the formula to success.
Interesting. Well, and by the way, Courtney Logan, who I'm speaking with, and his event in the Black Business School is this Friday. If you go to boycewatkins.com, it's right there at the top. You can join for free. So feel free to join us. The URL's on the screen. So Courtney, I was, I remember reading somewhere that that a lot of Wall Street firms, when they're looking for traders, one thing that they sometimes recruit are poker players, because they said poker players know how to minimize the losses and maximize the gains. And I understand that. I play a lot of poker, and I guess I'm pretty good. I think I can claim it. I've won some tournaments with like 800 or 900 people, like first place. That 800, 900 people. Yeah. So
I play a little hold'em.
Do you? Okay, we get together, but we got to play some hold'em, man.
All right.
And I don't get to play so much, but one thing about it is that when it comes to knowing how to lose, again, so you can hold out to get to your wins. It makes me think about I think about just in poker, not going what they call it going on tilt, where you're so pissed off that you lost that you become irrational. And
we call it revenge trading.
Yeah. There you go. See, I think you got a term for it. And then also, when I think about the ability to lose, I think about when the Buddhists. My wife is very Zen and metaphysical, and she told me that the Buddhists. One of the things they believe is not to summarize because I'm completely ignorant about Buddhism to be clear with everybody. But one thing she mentioned is that they have a thing where they say you should want nothing, right? Mm-hmm. Just want nothing, and then you process loss differently than a person who is greedy or hungry or desires everything, right? So if you just kind of say I'm good no matter what, you could take a loss in a different way. So how do you deal with, just losses in general, just as as an experienced trader, and you have a rough day or things aren't going right, what sort of process do you have to kind of deal with that?
Sure. I think losses should be calculated before you have them, right? Mm-hmm. We should truly understand what the loss will be, how much it will be, to the dollar almost before we even do it, right? Losses are nothing but a business expense to a seasoned trader. Like they're coming. We know they're coming. It's not a surprise. It's not a shock. We know we're going to have them. However, losing streaks also happen too. And that's when you have to have, I got trigger rules. I got my rules written on my wall. I can't have 4% of drawdown. I can't have, across all of my trades, I can't have a certain number of drawdown. At 3 strikes, I'm out. It's right here. 3 strikes, I'm out. It's up on my wall, right on my wall over here. 3 strikes, I'm out, right? So if I lose 3 in a row, I'm done. I can't trade, right? It automatically, I just can't do it. I'm done for the day, right? And for me, what I believe is important is for us to understand that the rules we create for ourselves are not for the market, right? The rules we create for ourselves are for us, because the reality is the market is ever flowing. The market doesn't need rules. You need rules. Right. The trading plan is not for the market. The trading plan is for you. Your entry and exit methodology, that's not for the market. That's for you. That's to govern you. Right. Your risk management, as far as what your percentages are that you're trying to win, and your targets and your profit targets, that's for you. That's for you to say, hey, I've done enough. We need to stop now. Right. So a lot of these rules that we're talking about and that we're putting in place, that's for you. And most traders have not woken up to the realization that the biggest reason they can't become who they want to be is because of them. They are the ones that are in the way. They are the problem. It's not the strategy. It's not the system. It's not the company. It's not the teacher. It's them. So what I do with my students, the first thing we work on is psychology. We spend a lot of time on psychology because I understand it doesn't matter how many technical analysis tools you have or how much fundamental analysis right? If your life is unorganized, you're going to be unorganized. If you're undisciplined in your life, your trading is you're going to be undisciplined as a trader, because the market is nothing. It's going to be a mirror right back to you. If you're greedy, you talking about being a poker player. I was a gambler before I started doing this stuff. Can you imagine? The euphoria of just going to the poker room or going to the casino and looking across the table and just seeing all of those chips. That's psychological. They put those chips in front of you for a reason. They are there to let you know this could all be yours. However, they know statistically, if you stay long enough, I'm going to take your money. The market is no different. The market is no different. It's no different. And we get a casino mentality in a never ending. You can win as much as you want in the market. And the problem is that's the problem. It's true. You could, but it's a paradox. You won't.
Wow, that's great. I love that. Yeah, you could, but you won't.
You won't. You're not gonna break the casino. Nobody's gonna break the casino. They know that.
Well, it's in that euphoria of winning. It totally becomes addictive, and you get this kind of trading environment right now where everybody's making money hand over fist, and
correct.
And you get these these trading experts, saying I'm going to show you how to trade, and they've been trading for 2-3 months. And,
Yep.
it's hilarious to watch. So let me ask you this question. And by the way, I'm speaking with Courtney Logan. Courtney is as you can tell, he's a smart man. Let's see, Adamu says, I am impressed. You should be impressed. In the Black Business School, we don't partner with stupid people. So this brother, we were super impressed with his background. He's a 4-time debate champion. In case you got here late, this man was a 4-time national debate champion. Give a shout out to Black Excellence on that. He's an attorney. He's also a trading expert. And so the free event that he's doing in the Black Business School is going to be Friday at 8 p.m. If you'd like to join, just go to boycewatkins.com. The link is right there at the top. His name is Courtney Logan, and his special event is right there at the top on boycewatkins.com. So let me ask you this, man. How has the Forex market been reacting to just the pandemic? I mean, has there been a difference in the trading dynamics in Forex as a result of what's these pending global economic crises and viruses and variants, and how's that affecting the Forex market?
It's definitely affected it because it affects the dollar, right? It affects the actual countries that are involved. Right? When we talk about for the new people that are listening, when we talk about Forex, we're talking about foreign exchange, which is nothing but currencies, the currencies of global countries, right? So the US dollar has a currency, the dollar, and the Canada has a currency, the Canadian dollar, and so be it all around the country. I mean, all around the world. So what we're talking about is the exchange of those two currencies, and specifically the exchange rate of those currencies. So the same way it affects companies, right? The same way it's being affected in the Forex market. When we look to the simulators between the stock market and all these other markets and the Forex market, we're looking at fundamental data just like everybody else. We're looking at what the Fed is talking about, whether or not they're going to be raising rates or lowering rates, because now from a currency perspective, currency is really nothing but a supply and I've boiled currency down into two questions. First one is sentiment. Right? How does people feel? Right? Because how people feel will dictate how they react and what they do. And the second question is nothing but a supply and demand question, just like any other asset. Right? How much is available or how little is available? So when we talk about the Fed increasing rates or decreasing rates, right? They're basically either pumping money into the market or going to decrease the supply of the dollar on the street. Either one of those are going to have an effect on the value of the currency, just like this pen. Or if I take this pen and everybody say, well, I can get this pen for 10 cents because it's very, very common. It's very common. However, if I encrust this with gold, if I put diamonds in it, now all of a sudden this pen is one of 5. It becomes more valuable, right? That's all we're talking about. Even when we're talking about inflation and all these different things, we're just saying, hey, there's more dollars on the street. If there's more dollars, there's inflation, which means what? The value of the dollar has decreased. And guess what that's going to do for a Forex pair? The dollar will decline. No difference when they start raising rates. We can look into the future already and understand and get in position to make trading decisions, because now the Fed has backed themselves into a corner where they have to raise rates. We know it's going to happen. Inflation is rampant. It's all over the place. They've pumped all this money. No money is free. Everybody know there's no such thing as free money. Okay. We're paying the price of free money when you go and get the bread, and it's more, and the gas is, we're paying the price of inflation now. They didn't think it would be this soon. However, it is. It's heated up really fast. So when the Fed raises rates, guess what that will do to the dollar? It's going to make it stronger. We already know what positions we're going to take. Right now, sitting right now, we already understand that in the first quarter, the Fed has to raise rates. And now the chairman is talking about doing it sooner. They're saying, hey, the job market has rebounded a lot quicker than we thought. No, they found themselves in a pickle. It ain't that the job market is where they want it to be. It's because they found themselves in a pickle and now they have to act. Well, we knew that already. We knew that when they start pumping money in the economy, is going to have to stop it, slow the freight trading down. So we're looking at the same type of data, same type of information that people are looking at in the stock market. It's just different for the stocks, for the companies. You're looking at the stock. Well, for the stocks, you're looking at the performance of the company. Right? For currency, we're just looking at the performance of the country. It's the same thing. It's no difference.
All right. Well, I love that, man. I'm curious to see what the Fed, how the Fed moves, at what pace. Because you're right. Ultimately, the tapering must occur and the raising interest rates must occur. Uh, I have seen just varying perspectives in terms of when that rate hike will occur. I think JP Morgan Chase was even saying it wouldn't happen until 2023 or 2024, which kind of surprised the shit. I mean, that's surprised. I was like, whoa, really?
Well, the Fed has something called the dot plot, right? And the dot plot is where all the governors they kind of say where they see rates and blah 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 blah. And you'll see like when the coronavirus was at full peak, everybody was like, no, we're not raising rates to, we ain't. But all of a sudden it's like sooner and sooner and sooner. All of a sudden it's kind of like, no, we need to do it tomorrow, right? Because they're trying to counteract, and that's the problem with inflation. That's the problem with stimulus. You don't really know the effect of it until it's here. Like there's no way for the Fed to know when they're pumping trillions of dollars into the economy. They know there's going to be an inflationary effect. They don't have an idea of when. Timing inflation is very, very hard. They can't do that. So, when you look at some of those earlier plots, it's like, okay, yeah, it's going to be all the way out here. But now all of a sudden they're looking at prices, right? And wages are not going up. Prices are going up. Now you got a problem because now the labor is asking for more money. So you got labor problem. You got people that, not as far as there not being jobs available, but people not wanting to work jobs for wages that are not fair, that they don't consider fair. So now when you raise rates, the Fed is now they're in trouble because you're going to raise rates, which is going to make cheap money go away. There's not going to be any cheap money anymore for the companies, and the labor is still going to be asking for more money. Well, where's the money going to come from? It's going to come in at expense of who? The end user, the customer. Prices are going to go up. We call it demand. You got demand pull and cost push inflation, right? So yeah, I think we're in interesting times. I think the markets, like I said, there's a lot of opportunity here for people that are well educated. Listen, I am of the opinion that if you're going to do this, you treat it with care. I treat it like a profession. We treat it like any other job, like a carpenter or a lawyer or a doctor. We want to understand what we can understand. I don't believe in being intellectually lazy. Like you don't need all of that. I've heard that so many times, especially when I first started trading. You don't need to know all of that. You don't need to do all this. Like why? You're banking your revenue and all of these hopes and dreams on something you don't want to know about. Well, I want to know about it. That's just my opinion. That's the type of person I'm for. And I know also I don't speak to everybody. I'm not for everybody. And there's companies and there's places out there for everybody else. That's not who I'm for. I'm for the person that truly wants to understand why this market does what it does so they can truly extract the profits that they're looking for consistently.
All right. Well, I know you guys are super impressed with this brother. And in case you want to know who we're speaking with, it's Courtney Logan. Courtney Logan is a Forex expert, and he has a lot of great opinions and perspectives on the shape of the economy. I will say, Courtney, I like a lot of what you. I mean, I like everything you said. But I mean, it's like I tell you. I think it is going to be interesting to see how things evolve because I think they might have infected the economy with a virus with a financial STD called stagflation. Yep. I think stagflation is could be on the way where you get a dampened economy and the inflation with it, which it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Hopefully it'll work out for the best, man. But it's kind of crazy. But anyway, I want to say thank you for your time. This has been a great conversation, brother. And also this Friday at 8 p.m., I want everybody to know Courtney's coming through the Black Business School. Yeah, all of you are invited to come for free. You can go to boycewatkins.com. We just put the link there to make it easy for you. Go to boycewatkins.com. Right there at the top, there is a link you can click on where you can come to the free event where Courtney's going to break it down for you. He's going to get you started in Forex and introduce you to this beautiful market. It's highly liquid. There's a lot of action there, and it's a lot of fun. So I look forward to seeing you on Friday, brother, and it was great talking to you.
Oh, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I'll see you Friday night.
For sure. All right, everybody. Well, God bless you guys. It was great talking to everybody. I'm about to go take a shower. Me and my wife just went to work out, so I'm trying to avoid getting the stagflation in this body. trying to do what I can do to stay on top of things. So God bless everybody. Please have a wonderful day. It was wonderful talking to you, and thanks again, my brother. And we'll see you soon. Take care now. Peace.